usual, we are going to be giving out 6 gifts today. Some are gas cards, some are grocery cards, some are gift cards. And if you've already won, go ahead and raise it. If you haven't won, you have an opportunity to win something tonight. Amen. So we're going to get started. We'll start with a word of prayer. And Brother Corns, Dr. Corns, when you kind of put together your information today, just kind of put away some things where you basically know you have to ask them a question and we want to think they know it, okay? Okay. So we got at least 6 questions, okay? All right, let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for the opportunity to come together as we have. May everybody say amen.
Amen. Amen. All right. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Amen. That's right. I want some feedback, some blood circulating, some life. I don't want you to be just kind of sitting there going to sleep. But this is a great opportunity for you, and it's a great opportunity for me because it gives me an opportunity to live within my passion. It's really great. Some of the conditions that we're going to talk about, but you want to be empowered enough to be able to educate your family members and give them some information. And hey, if you think that we have something to offer, you may be able to refer friends and family to our services, and we'll be able to help them with some of the issues that they're having. So myself, along with my wife, we operate the Vera Alternative Health Center located in Huntsville, Alabama. Basically, what we provide is an alternative medicine consulting practice. So what people come to us who have chronic illnesses, we help them navigate through a transition from having high blood pressure, and then showing them how they can follow a plan that can build their health, that they will no longer need the high blood pressure medication. So what we provide is not a treatment for disease, but we provide a healing plan that when the body begins to restore itself, there's no longer a need for that medication. Does that make sense? So when you give your body what it needs, your body can heal itself. There is a process that the Creator put inside of you. There is a cellular process called apoptosis. Okay? I begin to empower them with a knowledge that's based on what the Creator has given us. It gives them hope. So apoptosis. What is apoptosis? Apoptosis is cell death. Okay, apoptosis is cell death. Okay, Scripture says this: if the foundation be destroyed, what shall the righteous do? So when I'm working with individuals with skin condition, I give them the understanding that we have to work within cycles of 4 weeks to bring some restoration to your skin condition. Psoriasis, eczema, etc. Make sense? So Your cells are dying, new cells are taking its place. When you bathe and you scratch and you wear your clothes, and that's not just dirt falling off of you. That's not just dirt that's on that rag when you wash yourself. That's dead skin follicles that's falling off, right? So what I teach people to do is to tap into that system, okay? What do we need for that cell? That makes sense? What do we need for the cells of the liver? What do we need for the cells of the heart? What do we need for the cells of the skeletal system? What do we need to sell for the respiratory system or the reproductive system? There are specific foods, there are specific juices, there are specific supplements that provide the needs for those cells. So as new cells are coming into play, we can make a stronger you. Are you with me? All right, so every 4 weeks, you have a new layer of skin. Every 6 weeks, you have new liver. Your liver cells die and replace themselves. Matter of fact, you can have a part of your liver cut off and it can regenerate itself. Okay, did you know that? So every 6 weeks, you have a new liver. Now, the question is this. What type of liver are you going to have 6 weeks from now based on how you're eating and drinking? But it's going to be a different cellular network with those cycles of 6 weeks, okay? Every 8 weeks, you have your skeletal, your heart and your blood vessels, they begin to die and replace themselves. So every 8 weeks, you have a new heart, all right? So if you have a heart condition, you have high blood pressure, you have heart disease, we have to work within cycles of what? There we go, cycles of 8 weeks. Okay, when it comes to your skeletal system, it takes an entire year for your cells to die and new ones to replace itself. So every year we have a new skeletal system, all right? With that understanding of these cycles of weeks or so, minimum framework that we operate in our wellness program is 90 days, okay? And 90 days is a significant window to have some phenomenal changes take place in your life. And the reason it's 9 weeks, because we want those cycles of weeks to go into play while we're giving the various therapies that the body needs so the body can begin to heal itself. Does that make sense to everyone? Now, write this down. Let me share with you some of the therapies that we have used very successfully in turning individuals' health around. One, we use supplemental therapy, plant-based supplemental therapy. Second, we use herbal therapies, specifically formulas. We don't typically use just an individual herb. They work better in synergy. They work better with what, everybody? Synergy. They work together. Think about a football team or a basketball team or a work crew. They're going to work together in a team. You're going to have more success. All right. The other therapy that we utilize is nutritional therapy. What kind of therapy? Nutritional therapy. We use food as medicine. So, for example, for immune health, building up immune system, we use like oranges and grapefruit. They're great for the immunity. Okay. We're going to make some today and have you taste it. For the skeletal system, celery. Matter of fact, God has put his signature on certain plants to give you an idea of what it is used for. You look at this celery, it mimics what type of part of your body? What does it remind you of? Bone. Celery is great for the bone. It is high in mineral. It's great for the skeletal system. Amen? Are you all with me? So if you take this carrot and cut it in half and look at that, have you ever cut a carrot in half? And look at it, what does it remind you of? An eye. So is carrot good for the eyes? So foods have a certain signature on it, so we use food for its medicinal properties. Not only that, there's another therapy that we use, juice therapy. What type of therapy? Juice therapy. Everywhere I go, I run into people who have a misconception of juicing. They think that when you juice, you're actually losing something, like you're stealing from it. Like, why isn't the whole food plant better? Isn't it better to eat the whole plant? And isn't juicing, aren't you wasting? And I don't juice. I like the whole thing. And I hear this everywhere I go. And what is happening, we don't understand the role of juicing. When you juice, all of the life forces are assimilated into your bloodstream in 15 minutes or so. Most of us have tore down digestive systems. So even if we're taking it in whole, we are what we eat, right? We are what we eat, correct? We are what we eat, correct? No, we're not. That is not the truth. I set you up for the okie doke. That's a biggest lie. You are what you assimilate. So I can eat this orange or this apple, but if my digestive system is impaired, I'm only going to get a certain percentage of the value of this orange or this apple. So what I've discovered is that most of us have very impaired digestive systems. Most of us have impaired elimination. Most of us have been through some type of trauma and some type of stress. And the brain and the stomach, they have a strong affinity. The stomach is called the second brain. Did you know that? And the bacteria that's in your gut, it creates like a signal or if you look at the like wires or a network in a computer system, it connects with the brain. And this is why, have you ever had bad news and what did it hit you at? So just imagine, having to deal with traffic. Just imagine having to just deal with work and, raising the children and taking care of responsibilities. We have a lot of pressure that's on us, and sometimes we get a little bit stressed out. Is that not true? And guess where it hits you at? So by the time you've hustled and bustled and rusted and running here, doing that, by the time you sat down to eat, you're really not relaxed. So now you're eating with a stomach that does not have the capacity to give you what you need. So why do we juice? Juices bypass all that. You got what I'm saying? You may blend it up. That's good. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it. You may eat it fresh. That's good. But when it comes to juicing, you're guaranteed to get it. So when people say stuff against juicing, you defend it. And I'm going to show you it's biblical. See, science, what we term as science, what learned men have come to discover, is something that God has already said. Are y'all hearing me? So don't think that, biblical principles are inferior. It's superior. When learned men was saying the earth was flat, and if you go so far, you're going to fall off the edge of the earth. Isaiah already told us it is God who sits on the circle of the earth. So there are things that we really need to understand and know how to take care of yourself. So let me ask you this question. How many of us in this room own a juicer? Hey, wow. Darling, you see that? I've never seen numbers like this before. You be not far from the kingdom of heaven. I had a punchline to come behind that. I couldn't even use it. Y'all messed me up. Can I just say it anyway? It's a punchline, so most like one person raised their hand, then I come back and say, you got a TV, right? And they say, yeah. Then I say, well, sell you. You have a good juicer. All right, great, great. So this is so these are the concepts that we want to be able to share with you, empower you. So having a juicer and using a juicer is two different things. You want to use the juicer regularly. So while I'm just talking about juicer, you need to decide how often you're going to juice. I'm going to add value to it in today's class. So having a juicer and using one are two different things. Use your juicer regularly. So what I need you to do, action step. How often are you going to juice? So you need to write that down. How often? So you got to live life by design. Take a look at me. I live life by design. I'm not, it's not happenstance what I do when it comes to my health. I design it. So I am here at 52 years old and I'm living by design. You got what I'm saying? My design was being at this age and not being on meds, and I'm not on meds. My design was that we raise our children and still have the youth that we had when we first started having children so we can have our time. Did you catch that or did you miss it? So now all our children are out of the house. We have a great relationship and we get to travel and enjoy life together and enjoy our health. It's built in, it's by design. You got what I'm saying? This morning, we were planning on going to work out earlier this morning, didn't have lunch with your pastor, but the hotel that we're staying in has a program where they're connected with the YMCA, right? So if you're staying in the hotel, you get a guest pass to go to the YMCA. Unfortunately, the YMCA didn't open until 12. So I had to cancel my appointment with my brother here to invest in my real estate, right? You put your real estate first. You got what I'm saying? So now, if I put my real estate first, I have the life to enjoy him. If I put my real estate last, then I'm like, oh, okay, man, I'm in the hospital, I had this stroke, I had this, you know what I'm saying? Because we keep putting off the investment in the real estate. You being here is you invested in the real estate. Now, when you leave here, we need to go to a different level in our investment in our health. Is that making sense? I don't want you to be the same when you leave here. I want you to go higher. The path of the just is a shining light that shines more and more into that perfect day. You want to have a progressive lifestyle. All right? Let's look at a few things here. We talked about diabetes yesterday, and we talked about the various herbs. I'm just going to run through them. Geneva sylvestri, number one herb for diabetes. It is similar to glucose. We talked about bitter melon, which is an Asian, I call it a ugly cucumber, but it's a very virtuous plant. It is also, it also lowers and stabilizes blood sugar. And we talked about bilberry, and it also lowers blood sugar. Now, remember, all of these plants that we talked about have chemicals in it, and these chemicals have an effect on the body, and the effect on the body is that it alters structure and function. It alters what? All right, and that is the definition of a drug. That's the definition of what? A drug. In the book of Exodus, chapter 23, verse 25, write that down. Exodus 23, verse 25. Here's what it says. Thou shalt serve the Lord thy God, and he shall bless thy bread and thy water, and take sickness from the midst of thee. That word bread, lahim, in the Hebrew means food. So when it says, I'm going to bless thy bread, it's not talking about a loaf of bread. It's talking about food. So the Creator says, if you choose to serve him, I will bless your food and your water and take sickness from the midst of you. All right? I travel around different places. I talk with people who are in poor communities. And then they say, well, I can't afford organic. Don't worry about that. Work with what you have. And you ask God to bless what you have. Because he put these chemicals in these plants to keep you well, and he has it built in if you are to get sick, that he will use these chemicals in this plant to bring you healing. Are you feeling me? So he's put it in food like this. This will be referred to as what kind of herb we learned yesterday. What kind of herb is this? A nutritional herb, right? And when we talk about echinacea, golden seal, we're talking more of just a medicinal herb, but it does have nutrients too, all right? All right, so let's continue. Fenugreek was another one. It has chemicals in it that heal. So when we talk about healing and using therapies, there are various plants, and what we have is a formula with all of those plants in it. So what we've done, we've researched what are the top herbs for certain conditions, and we put them in formulas. But you need to know whether you use these formulas or not. You need to be educated on what works and what does not work. All right? So if you're using a diabetic formula, what do you need to look and see if it's in there? What's the first thing it should be in that ingredient? What's the first herb you should look for in a diabetes formula? Do you remember the herb? Gymneva sylvestre. All right. Let's continue. All right. Now let's talk about juicing for diabetes. So remember all of those therapies? How many remember the therapies that I recommend?
Stop right there. Let's make this a question.
All right.
Raise your hand. How many can remember what?
How many can remember the therapies
All right.
that I mentioned?
This hand go first. Remember the therapies.
Not yet. Not yet. Yep.
Did she get that right?
She did.
All right.
She got them right. I will have some more. All right. How many of you had an opportunity to check out Ernestine Shepherd yet? Remember I mentioned her yesterday? You did? All right. What did you discover? Is there a mic?
Yes, there is a mic.
Is there a mic?
Yeah. You know how to work it up there? Okay. Hello, hello. You hear me? You hear me? Is that on? All right. Is it on?
So what did you discover about her? Okay. '67 or '70 is when she started. So both her and her sister made a commitment that they were going to be healthy and exercise. And they were going to set a goal to be in the Olympics. First year she won. At age 70. Did you hear what she said? She's 84 and she's an instructor. And check this out. This woman gets up and exercises in the morning and then goes and teach an intensive exercise program. But you know what's messed up about that? I'll show you one thing that's messed up about it. Her husband ain't doing it. He's not doing it. And I tell people, don't take care of yourself if you don't want to, because what will happen is you'll pass away and your loved one will be with somebody else. They keep on going. That's the truth. If an accident happened, fine. But I'm not going to neglect my health and leave my wife a widow. Let's invest in ourselves. So we're talking about, can you come join me, darling? This is my lovely wife, Tawana Horns. All right, can you just work the switcher for me? I'm doing this. So this is my personal juicer. They're different ones. So this is a cold press juicer. It presses. This one has a blade that turns, and as the produce comes in contact with that blade, it separates the fiber, the bulk from the juice, and it's strained through a strainer, and it comes out through here, okay? So this one has a little more heat that affects it. This one presses it, okay? Both of them are good juicers, all right? But this one is gonna preserve more life in it. Does that make sense? Because anytime you add heat, or it's going to, alter a little bit. But I'm just sharing that information with you. But you want to start off with juicers to yourself for diabetes is string beans. All right. With this particular herbal therapy, diabetes with those formulas in it, and with this particular juice therapy, along with some other therapies, we've been able to reverse type 2 and type 1 diabetes. Okay? We already talked about how these herbs that we mentioned, the chemicals that are in it, one particular Gymneva sylvestri, I showed you one of the reports, scientific reports, that show that the Gymneva sylvestri has the ability to help regenerate the beta cells in the pancreas, where insulin is created. But we also see that it has a metformin effect. It makes the cells more receptive to the insulin, okay? So we talk about string bean juice. It's rich in potassium, helps restore deficient pancreas exhausted by excess demand for insulin and other enzymes, and it alkalines the pancreas. So when you're eating simple carbohydrates, you are destroying your pancreas. All right? Do you know the difference between simple and complex? The whiter the bread, the quicker you're dead. That's a simple carbohydrate. You want a complex carbohydrate, a whole grain, right? That has not been refined, right? Makes sense. So even a high-fat diet will destroy your pancreas, all right? So we want a clean fuel. So in eating the wrong way, eating irregular, eating too often, eating between meals, eating and drinking at the same time, eating predominantly cooked food for long periods of time will exhaust your pancreas. All right? So what this particular food does, it helps to give the pancreas a holiday. And why it's having a holiday? It's getting a facial massage, you know. It's helping to heal it. Now, let's go to our next slide. What is the power of the string bean? What's in it? What's in the string bean that gives it its virtue? It's called inulin. What does that sound like? Insulin. Inulin is God's insulin. Inulin is God's insulin. All right? And the inulin is a part of a natural occurring what is called polysaccharides. Polysaccharides are found in a multitude of plants, all right? And the more plant variety you have in your diet, eating more plant foods, you're going to partake of these polysaccharides, you're going to partake of these inulins, and you're going to have normal blood sugar. When you start getting away from the whole foods that contain these polysaccharides that help keep your blood sugar stabilized, then your blood sugar starts going out of whack because you're eating a lot of processed food, cooked food, non-living foods. Is that fair enough? All right, let's go to our next slide. Now, that inulin is a source of energy for the plant. Inulin is a complex carbohydrate. See, it's not simple, but it does not do what, everybody? Raise blood sugar because it is a soluble fiber which is undigestible. Inulin slows down. What does it do? Slows down the absorption of the glucose, resulting in what? Lower blood sugar. When you eat that white bread, it takes your blood sugar like a rocket ship, right? It goes into your bloodstream, raises your blood sugar up like that. But when you consume plants like this in their whole food, like the green string beans, your blood sugar goes down the runway, front wheels come up, it takes off, it ascends, it flies for so many hours, it descends, and it lands, keeping your blood sugar level. As opposed to, say, the food that is denatured and simple carbohydrates, your blood pressure, your blood sugar is going to raise up and it's going to drop down. All right, it's going to pump too much energy into your bloodstream too fast. Does that make sense? All right. So what we're going to do, what plant we're going to use? We're going to use string beans. What are we using it for, friends? About to do surgery. All right. That's how we do it. Can you? Okay. All right. Isn't she lovely? All right. So what we do for our clients, we provide a program for them. And this kind of data that I'm sharing with you, they follow. Okay, so think about if you have diabetes, we'll have you, whoops, forgot one. I have a bag or something in there, I believe. I brought some bags. I missed a step. And I also have a clamp in there too. So this comes out the side here. So what you would do, here's what I do. I usually take this, a bag like this, and I go just like this. So when the produce comes out, it goes right into the bag, and I can use as compost, or I can just discard it, just depending on. You don't see it? Okay. Should be in one of those bags. All right. So let me ask you this question. How many would like to taste? That's all we have? Oh, we need more. Yeah, you need more. Yeah. Now, here's the thing about, now, and listen to me closely. Let me just say this so I won't be misquoted or misunderstood. I'm not anti-doctor. I'm not anti-drugs. I'm pro-life. Okay? Here's the reality. Whenever you are consistently dependent upon a medication that's doing the work for you, it creates disuse atrophy. All right, so instead of your pancreas and your beta cells being encouraged to work, they're encouraged to take a holiday. So think about your arm being in a cast for months. You know, back in the day, when kids in my neighborhood broke their arm, they would cast them all the way up to here. Remember that back in those days? Now they don't do that anymore. They just cast you like right here because they realize that lack of mobility, you know, set the recovery process back. So now they just cast halfway up. And so what this does, what this string bean does, it gives a medicinal effect. You following me? But it helps to heal and restore the pancreas. And it's a food. And it doesn't have side effects. It's a win-win situation. All right, can you just go ahead? You mind helping me? Hmm? Yeah, I got the wrong ones. I know I'm struggling. Get my hands in there. Yes. All right. Let's get a show of hands of those who would like to give a try. First one. All right. Would you mind coming up here, please? Yeah.
Where's the mic? There's one right there.
And this is just the green beans, nothing else.
This is just the green beans, nothing else. All right. So with this type of juice, it's step right here just for a second. With this type of juicer, there's a second step that you would have to do that you won't have to do with this juicer, and that is to strain. Okay, yeah, so you see here, there is some fibrous that's in the juice. So what I encourage you to do, like this juicer comes with a strainer, and then you just strain it. You pour it through a strainer, and I pour it inside of my, my measuring cup, and then we just drink it. I make enough for both of us, and we drink, okay? Now,
Still say that this one here is the best one. This is the top of the-
well, a cold press juicer is going to be your top of the line juicers. You have different models that can be more pricey, but as far as a juicer, which juicers are the best juicers are juicers that press. They're called cold press juicers.
Okay, so is this one a cold?
This is a cold press juicer.
Okay, all right.
Mhm. Yep. Now, with the, let me just show, so you're tasting the raw string beans.
Yeah.
Now, we have a recipe that includes not only the string beans, but you mix it with carrot and, you know, some other plants. But when it comes to the formula that's medicinal, it's a certain amount of juice is needed for it to be medicinal. Does that make sense? So the amount of juice that we have to, what we utilize in our program for diabetes is 16 ounces of this daily. You don't have to drink it all at one time, and you don't have to drink it by itself, but we give a recipe you blend it with, and you drink enough, you drink 16 ounces within that 24-hour period. There you go.
Not bad,
Not bad.
not bad.
What's it taste like? What does it taste like?
Sweet, sour,
Sweet.
bitter.
No, it's not sweet and it's not sour. Actually, it's not bitter either.
It's not bitter either. But if you would put it in one of those
almost tastes like
categories, would it be closer to sweet?
Okay, I'll say it was closer to sweet because it's definitely not sour and it's not bitter.
Okay, all right.
You know,
Yeah, it's not
It's
sour.
almost like steamed green beans, the way that I use it.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
all right, all right. Great, great. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now here's the thing. You have to change the picture of your mind. You got some people that, ugh, you know, before they even taste it, they're thinking it's green, they're thinking it, you know, that's a sick mindset. When it comes to them donuts, you don't do that. When it comes to that dead animal on your plate, you don't say, ugh, this thing used to poop. You know what I'm saying? You didn't say that. You ate it. And you don't even know what they did in the back when they made it. You know, you didn't see them drop your steak or your burger on the floor when they were flipping it. You got what I'm saying? But you didn't frown your nose to that. You probably didn't even pray over it. You just ate it. But when it comes to green stuff and plant stuff, people always, green stuff? It's a wrong mindset. We need to change that mindset. This is the stuff that makes us alive. All right? So we need to give it respect. Amen to that? Yeah, we need to give it respect. You know, and let's be real. You may not, you may have to cultivate a taste for certain things, but you need to talk to yourself and say, this is better for me. All right? So let's give some other people a test here. All right? All right? No. We'll ask for one.
We'll ask for one just a minute.
All right. Who else would like to taste? All right. Good. Great. Great. So we'll make them up. Once she gets them all made up, you can come up and grab some. Where's that pointer there, darling? All right. So string beans are the somehow we went back. Is the plant of choice that we use for diabetes. So I got a question for you. What is the chemical constituent? What is inside that plant? What is the chemical that's in the All right, I'm gonna move on for time's sake. Is that all right? And when she makes it, we'll stop and let you taste and we'll continue. All right, let's get to the heart, okay? You know, the Bible tells us to keep our heart with all diligence, for out of it flows the issues of life, okay? From a health perspective, remember the woman had an issue of blood. What issues from the heart is blood. We're told to keep our heart with all diligence. You need to protect it. So here is how I think. Here's how I think. I think and break things down from systems. So the heart is in what system? Circulatory system, right? Great. And the kidney and the bladder is a part of what system? Anatomy and physiology. Kidney and bladder is a part of what system? The urinary system. Urinary system. Ovaries and testes are part of what system? Reproductive system. Brain is a part of what system? Central nervous system. Yes. So all of those systems need their care. So when it comes to thinking about your body, what has worked for me is having a plan of care where I'm investing in all of those systems. Most women don't invest in their reproductive system, their hormonal system. So at certain seasons in their life, they have these issues, okay? And it's because of not having the right amount of care. Like hot flashes, we think that's normal. No, it's not. You know, having the menstrual cycle where we have heavy bleeding and cramping and all of that, we think that's normal, but it is not. When your body is nourished, you do not have those problems. And this is why women that I have an opportunity to work with who are in that season in their life, women who are having heavy bleeding and cramping and hot flashes, we put them on certain types of programs and it goes away because the body gets what it needs. And when it gets what it needs, it corrects those types of effects. Yes, ma'am. Sure, you can. Yes. She had to have a blood transfusion from her menstrual cycle. All right. So they're going to put her on hormone medication. Okay. Blend up what again? Greens, yes. 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 And what was the result of giving your daughter the green? Perfect. I understand. Wow. So you see the power of plants and what it can do just for that, just for even the hormones in the reproductive system. When you give your body living things, it has the capacity to assist with the function of bodily functions. Let's talk about the hypertension and the circulatory system. Now, have you heard of salicylate acid? Okay. Salicylate acid is what is found in aspirin. Salicylate acid. Okay. So we have a formula called circulatory. I'm going to explain why we have this and what it's used for. So aspirin was originally derived from the herb meadowsweet and willow bark. Both of these are in this particular formula. It was later synthesized. It was taken to the big farmer, studied the plant. When they studied the plant, they found the secret of its strength. And as they found the secret of its strength, they went into the lab and made a synthetic version of it. And they named it aspirin. Okay? But where did it come from? Where did it come from? Herbs. It came from meadowsweet and white willow. So some 90% of pharmaceutical drugs find their origin from plants. But yet there are many who say, using plants has no validity. It has no science behind it. It has no research behind it. So if that's the case, why are you stealing from what God has designed? All right? Now, the willow bark contains a compound called salicylate acid, which has what type of properties? Pain relieving, blood thinning, and clot preventing properties. So there are plants that have salicylate acid in. You mentioned the greens. When you're using greens and green leafy vegetables, that's going to keep your blood flowing freely. That's going to help prevent clot formations, right? That's going to have a blood building effect. So this willow bark comes from a willow tree. Remember we said trees are herbs, all right? Have you seen the white willow? All right, the willow bark, willow tree? So it has these properties, right? Now here we have meadowsweet, Spirea almaria. Spirea almaria, you see the name? That's the botanical name. Spirea almaria, okay? Is where the synthetic drug name aspirin comes from. Did you catch that or did you miss it? So even the name of aspirin is derived from the botanical name of meadowsweet. If there never was a meadowsweet, you wouldn't be taking a baby aspirin every day for your heart issues. Does that make sense to you? All right. So that's the chemical that's in it. It's high in salicylate acid. So when it comes to our heart conditions, we usually have people taking the circulatory. All right? Why do we have it taken the circulatory? To keep the blood flowing and free. Why do we use those herbs? So these are herbs that we have in our protocol. So when we talk about heart condition and pain relief and anti-inflammatory properties and things like that, plants that we use is the meadowsweet white willow. That's why we use it, because it was designed by the creator to be used for those functions, okay? And when you get it inside of your system, it's going to help minister to the blood and keep the blood flowing and free flowing. And it's going to also have a anti-inflammatory effect, like aspirin has an anti-inflammatory effect, all right? It has a blood thinning and a clot preventing properties to it. Well, there are plants that we can utilize and get those benefits as well. Is that making sense to you? Yeah. And the thing about it, you don't have the side effects that goes along with it. And there's a science to it. Now, I don't expect you to walk out this room and know how to do everything correctly. I would encourage you to get some understanding of what to do, but it starts with education first. Education is better than medication. My point is not to give you every step in the process. We don't have time to do that today, but at least open your mind to let you know that you do have some options, okay? I have worked with individuals who have told me they were going to be on blood thinners for the rest of their life, and they are not right now. Yes, ma'am. What's that again? Yes, I mean because we have the potential to be allergic to any drug because it's a drug, and drugs alter structure and function. Salicylate acid. So the salicylate acid is not the same. It's synthetic. You got me? So your body like, this is foreign. What is this? You got me? What is this in me? It's like an invader. But the salicylate acid in plants is a part of how we're made up. So when it goes into your body, it's a friend. You came from the dirt. Salicylate acid came from the dirt, from the plant. So when you take it, your body receives it in a natural way. You got me? But when you have a synthetic version, it will alter structure and function. It will do its job. It will take the pain away. It will thin the blood, et cetera. You have those benefits, but you're going to get a side effect too. That makes sense? All drugs have side effects. In an emergent situation, that's the best mode of operation. But we need to educate ourselves to move from the emergent care to true healthcare. And this is true healthcare. All right? This is true healthcare. All right? So don't get it twisted. Every time you see wellness and wellness, you know, that ain't real wellness. Wellness comes from that which is natural. All right? So, you know, in emergent situations, that's how that works. But we need to learn how to take better care for ourselves. And if we take better care of ourselves, we may not need as much medication. Is that making sense to you? Yeah. A lot of what we're taking is because we haven't taken care of ourselves. Number one plant on planet Earth for the heart and circulatory system is a plant called Hawthorne berry. What's the name of it? Hawthorne berry. Hawthorne berry is a cardiac herb. It is the herb for the heart. Over in the UK, there's a lot of research on what plants do for the heart. Matter of fact, in the UK, their pharmacy, like we have pharmacy here, you go to the pharmacist. You go to the pharmacist over in the UK, you'll find that the pharmacists predominantly over there have herbs, supplements. Do they have medications there too? But they have a different philosophy when it comes to healthcare. They're more open to natural things. And you could be prescribed natural things in your plan of care, even in China. And Jamaica too, doctors will recommend herbal therapies as treatment plans. There are some dermatologists that will use natural remedies like aloe vera for skin conditions and such. So we need to be aware of these things and know how to use them in our plan of care for our needs. What does Hawthorne berry provide for us? Here's the benefits. Here are the benefits. These berries are widely used to treat high blood pressure, low blood pressure, high cholesterol, cardiac arrhythmias, okay? So when we talk about irregular heartbeat, this particular plant can aid in helping your heart to beat regular because the chemicals that are in that plant have an affinity to the heart. It gives the heart what it needs to function and support that system. Does that make sense? When a system is impaired, you want to give that system what it needs to support that system and to heal that system. The number one plant that God has created for the heart is hawthorne berry. There's its benefits. Congestive heart failure. I remember working with a gentleman who had congestive heart failure. His doctor told him, go home to die. Get your house in order because you're going to die. He came to one of our seminars. His cousin, which was my neighbor, said, Brother Corns. He said, my cousin is, he told me the story. He said, can you help him? I said, sure, I can help him. He said, it's an emergent situation. Can you talk to him today? I said, yeah, I can talk to him today, but I have a seminar that I'm conducting. I said, as soon as I'm done with the seminar, I'll talk with him. So we're conducting a seminar just like this, and I'm juicing. He shows up. When he shows up, his legs are swollen. Swollen like a very obese person, one leg. Now, he's naturally a slender individual, but that congestive heart failure had caused him to blow up. His heart had failed, he couldn't drive, he could barely walk. And I remember him sitting in the audience. What's that you say, Darren? He was on oxygen, sure was, on oxygen. hallway from his bedroom. Here's the crazy thing. I look over to my left, I see the oxygen sitting there unused. Dean steps out from his bedroom and he's in the hallway and he leans like this. He just is slender, healthy looking, picture of health. He followed the program to a T. All that fluid came off of him. His heart function and his respiratory, all of that turned around completely. He walked in his doctor's office and he said the doctor fell out the chair. He thought he saw a ghost. He said, Dean, I thought you were a dead man. That man went back to working and driving his tractor and all of that. See, there's a limitation to what modern sciences know. It is not in their scope of practice to tell you to go and juice some string beans.
That's right.
Yeah, and when you go tell your doctor this, you talk to somebody like me that said drink some string beans for your diabetes, they gonna think you cuckoo for Cocoa Pops. But it works. Dean's life was changed because he came in contact with someone who knew what to do. Now, let me just say this for this particular congregation. You need to know what to do. All right? If you want to impact this community, you got to look at the method in which Christ used. Christ's method alone will bring true success in reaching the people. What did he do? What did Jesus do more of? Answer that question for me. Healing the sick. That is the need that everybody has. Everybody's sick and wants some healing. If this can be a center of providing resources where people can get answers, they will come to you. They will come knocking on your doors. And I want to encourage you to take the time to learn these things and give it to the people. If Dean did not come in contact with me, Dean would have died, just like his doctor said. And there's countless other people that's like that I've worked with that changed their life when the doctor told them there was nothing else they can do for them. All right? So these things do work. So number one herb, we use this. I believe in this herb because this is what we use in our formula with Dean. What's in it? Flavonoids. What's in it? What is the chemical constituent that's in it that has its cardiac properties to it? Flavonoids. Flavonoids are a diverse group of phytonutrients, plant chemicals found in almost all fruits and vegetables. They are one of the largest nutrient families known to science. I repeat that. They are one of the largest nutrient families known to science. The number one disease in the US is heart disease. So the Creator knew this and he gave us a remedy, and this is why he put it in abundance in plants. The number one killer in the US is heart disease. The number one killer in the world is heart disease. Because the majority of the world has moved away from the Genesis 1 and Genesis 2 and Genesis 3 diet, which is what's the name of those diets? What's the name of the Genesis 1 diet? The original diet. Yeah, you can't say no more. What's the name of the Genesis 3 diet? The supplemental diet. And what diet are the majority of the world eating from? The emergency diet. And what does the emergency diet consist of? High protein coming from what source? Animal sources. And what other variation of animal foods are the majority of the world eating? Dairy products, milk. Job says, ask the beast and they will teach you. A calf is going to go to his mother and go, right? They know what to do. A rat is going to go to mama rat and go, right? But we humans, which is the higher species, is going to go to the cow and go, and the calf is like, what's up with these people? You got it. I'm trying to get in your head. My brother does heating and air conditioning. I went to go visit him in Memphis, Tennessee. And, he went to go do some work. So to spend some quality time with him, I went to work with him, gave him a hand, and we're fixing air conditioners and everything. And I noticed he has rolls of tissue on the back of his SUV. And I was like, that's strange, So I'm working with him, and he's I wind up doing most of the work. He's snotting and sneezing and snotting and sneezing. And I said, bro, I said, I got something for you. He's like, what? I said, well, I got something you can take, but predominantly, it's that those dairy products is doing this to you. He said, what? I said, they create excess mucus. I said, pollen has been here since the dawn of time. Pollen is not the problem. The problem is your body is toxic. Your body has excess mucus from that milk and that cheese that you eat. He said, what? So he took the milk and the cheese and the dairy out of his diet. He stopped sneezing. So then he was like, I don't know if that's really true or not. I think it just kind of like happenstance. I think it just went away. So I'm gonna give me some mac and cheese tonight. That joker got him some mac and cheese. Went back to work the next day. He called me. He's not trying to prove you wrong. But people who move away from the dairy products, I had a lady write me a long letter. We were working with her for weight loss and thyroid issues. And she wrote me this long letter to tell me how she moved to Tennessee 20 years ago, and she has not been able to enjoy Tennessee. She said she's been every summer, she can't go outside because of her allergies being so severe. And she said, I want to thank you, Dr. Corns, because now I can enjoy the beauty of the rolling hills of Tennessee. Okay, so I use a body temple principle, okay? So your body's a temple of God, right? So think about the ancient temple. The temple was defiled, and there was a day of atonement, which they cleansed the sanctuary. Know ye not that your body is a temple, and we defile our temple? So what do we need to do? If you go and you shower or you use the toilet and you don't clean it, it's going to build up, right? You're going to see, you clean it, right? So when you add all this waste in your body and you just stop, you think it's just going to go away? You got to clean it. You got to detox it. You got me? The Bible says there are some things that will not come out except with what? Prayer and fasting. Now, we think fasting is simply going without food, but juicing is a form of fasting. You can do juicing. So we have individuals that follow our 90-day program. We typically, if it's doable for them, we have them juice for 3 to 7 days. And all they're doing is juicing. And all that waste comes and toxins come out of them, and they breathe better, they feel better, they have more energy. We give the body an opportunity to heal itself. So that's what you need to do. The vegetables will help the detox. Yes, it will. The vegetables will help the detox. The juicing helps the detox. All right? So flavonoids, plant chemicals, flavonoids. All right. Now, what else is in how does flavonoids work? How do flavonoids work? They are hypotensive. What are flavonoids? Hypotensive. What does that mean? They aid in lowering blood pressure. What else? They are coronary vasodilators. What is a vasodilator? It will cause the blood vessels to expand. All right? So what flavonoids will do, it will heal and repair your blood vessels. Did you hear what I just said to you? It will help heal and repair your blood vessels. Are you familiar with street and sanitation, where they will come and fix the potholes and repair the streets? So the blood vessels are the arteries or the highways in which your blood drives through, okay? When you have heart condition, the highway is damaged. Like when we came here, they were working on the highway, and we were hitting all these potholes and stuff on the highway coming up here, and they got men out there repairing them. The flavonoids are the repairers of the highways of your arteries, the highways of your arterioles, the highways of your capillaries. Have you seen elderly people with blotches on their hand? Those like a purple looking color. You see grandma and auntie and papa and meemaw with those blotches. That's because when our elderly population gets older, we remove this from their diet. We diminish this and we increase their protein. And as you get older, you don't need as much protein as you were when you were younger. Now you've increased their ensure, thinking you are helping them, but it's not healthy for them. Does that make sense? These plants have flavonoids in them, all right? When you don't have enough flavonoids, guess what happens to your blood vessels? They become weak, they become frail, and what happens to grandma is basically her blood vessels are so weak that they burst, and the blood spills out superficially to the skin. It's not because she's been beat up, it's not because even if she just bumps a little bit, it causes the blood vessels to burst because they're weak. That makes sense? So what do flavonoids do to blood vessels? It makes them. And where do flavonoids come from? Steak, hamburger. All right, great. All right. Let's go past it. So flavonoids are good for cardiovascular system. They hinder the oxidation of low density lipoproteins, cholesterol, which is a good step towards lowering your risk of atherosclerosis, okay? So when we talk about cholesterol and lowering cholesterol, flavonoids help lower cholesterol. So that Hawthorne berry is in our heart formula. We have them taking the heart formula, and we also have them doing fresh fruits and vegetables. We have a juice recipe that we use that is hypotensive, and it also heals and restores heart health. Is that making sense to you? And what's in it is the flavonoids. That's the chemical constituents that's in it. Let me move on. Have you heard? There's also, Hawthorne berry has coumarins in it. Coumarins. What does coumarin sound like? Coumadin. Yep, that's where it came from. Plants. So the scientists studied the plant, and coumarins are a polyphenol. You heard of polyphenol? Polyphenols is what gives, like our perfumes, our fragrances. Polyphenols are the fragrance that are found in the plant. That makes sense? All right. And that compound in my system what it needs to keep the blood naturally free flowing and clot free. Having clots is not natural. If you are giving your body what it needs, you will prevent the heart disease and build the health of your circulatory system and the actual blood itself. Fair enough? Coumarins are anti-thrombotic. They prevent those blood clots. So, number 2 plant on planet Earth for the circulatory system. Number 2 plant, write this down, mother's wort. Mother's wort. Mother's wort, that's the image of it. Now, mother's wort, its botanical name is Lenoris cardica. What does cardica sound like? Heart. It is a cardiac herb. It is the, if you want to say, you know, back in my day, it was Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. So Hawthorne berry would be Michael Jordan and mother's wort would be Scottie Pippen. You got me? And it also, chemical constituent that's in mother's wort is flavonoids. And guess what it does? These are the benefits. Let's go back. Builds heart stamina. So remember Dean? Remember Dean, I told you with the congestive heart failure? His heart was failing. With the mother's wort, it builds up heart stamina. It helps strengthen the heart. Strengthen the heart. It strengthens the heart. It helps with heart failure, cardiac arrhythmia, irregular heartbeats, arterial fibrillation. It helps build up the stamina of the heart. It is a heart builder. 2 is better than 1. So think about having a hawthorn and the mother's wort working together. You have a dynamic duo. All right, here's what else we throw in there. And that's also in that heart. We use this. What else we use is cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper. That is the one who delivers, all right? It can stop a heart attack. What can cayenne pepper do? Stop a heart attack. It's going to cause the blood vessels to, and what it will do for the hawthorn berry and the mother's wort, when you combine them together, think about them entering into a Ferrari, right? The cayenne pepper is the Ferrari. And it's going to take off and it's going to go fast and it's not going to stop at any stoplights. And it's going to deliver hawthorn berry, mother's wort, where it needs to go. All right? What are the benefits? Now, what is inside? What's the chemical that God has put in cayenne pepper? It's capsium. 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 C-A-P-S-I-C-U-M. Capsium. It's a stimulant. Okay? It reduces heart arrhythmias. It improves cardiac blood flow. It improves cardiac blood flow. What else does it do? It decreases LDL cholesterol. LDL cholesterol has been given a bad rap. LDL cholesterol is not bad cholesterol. LDL cholesterol is the result of you damaging your blood vessels and it's producing this cholesterol to patch up the holes that you're putting in your blood vessels. Does that make sense? Lowers LDL cholesterol, and it stops unnatural bleeding. Remember, I told you the story about my mother and how she cut her finger, and we used cayenne pepper to stop the bleeding. I also was, when I was doing home health, I was driving down these country roads in Tennessee, and I saw this woman in distress at this country store. So I pulled over to see what the problem was. She said, my husband, he fell, he's over there. So I run and I go and I see him laying beside his truck. He had a big truck and he's laying there and he's bleeding. He has a gaping hole in the top of his head and blood is just, each time his pulse, blood is pumping out. Come to find out, he had cancer and he was on blood thinners and chemo, etc. His blood was thin as I don't know what, and he's bleeding to death. We took him inside that whole country store and set him down, and we was putting pressure on the wound. And I said, is any cayenne pepper? He's like, cayenne pepper? There's some cayenne pepper right there. I turn around, you can't make this stuff up. I turn around like this. I just went like this, like in the movie. Whoop. And on the shelf was seasoning. There was some cayenne pepper. Can't make this stuff up. I didn't even have to move. I grabbed the cayenne pepper, opened it up, and started dumping it on his head. They're like, what are you doing? What are you doing? So I was explaining to them what the cayenne pepper does. And just as it started to coagulate the blood, the bleeding stopped. He sat there, and I eased away, slipped out the door, drove off into the sunset. And they said, where is that dark, handsome hero?
They did not say that, brother.
They said it, man. I know they did. I had a patient to see, so I had to go. True story. All right? I've even had situations where people have had heart attacks right in front of me. I put cayenne pepper in their mouth. So cayenne pepper is something you need to keep in your pharmacy cabinet, okay? and it gives the benefits. So for a heart condition, I use all of these components together because they work better in synergy. Cayenne pepper is good, but it needs a team to work with when it comes to heart disease and high blood pressure, heart arrhythmias. Is that making sense to everyone? So this is why we designed this, because it's what God has given us. That makes sense? So those are the things you need to use in your program. All right, it gives energy. Now, the life of the flesh is in the blood. Cayenne pepper for men. Men have issues, reproductive issues. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. It helps to get the blood down to where it needs to be. All right. I'll leave it at that. All right. Increases circulation, vasodilation, and it also prevents heart attack. You can sprinkle a little cayenne pepper in your food with no problem. You know what I'm saying? You can put some in a little bit of water and just shake it up and drink it. You know, so I take cayenne pepper from time to time, and I'll show you how I use it in various drinks. Here's another one, blessed thistle. Remember thistles, thorns and thistles? Remember in Genesis, we talked about that? See how it's all coming together? I'm glad y'all bore with me. I'm glad y'all followed with me. See how it all comes together? So thistles, God gave, and when did God give the thistles? Genesis 1, 2, or 3, chapter 1, 2, or 3. When did he give the thistles?
Good question, good question. Who hasn't won a prize, please raise your hand.
Pastors can't participate.
Wait, you already. Anybody besides? Okay. Yes, one. Anybody
All right.
else?
They-
I thought your daughter got to get best. Okay, go ahead.
Now you know
Yeah,
her.
yeah, yeah, John, first. Go ahead. What's the answer? Well, I guess we got to move to the next person. Can you repeat the question?
I said, in what chapter of the Bible in Genesis did we have the introduction of thistles?
Nope.
Genesis 3.
All right.
All right, Genesis 3. All right, great. I'm gonna move on. Blessed thistle. Have you ever seen this before in the fields?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a thistle. It looks like a herb, a weed, and you've probably cut it down. You've seen it growing in fields as uncut, but that is actually a herb. What is it used for? Sensin is the chemical that's in it. What is it? Chemical that's in it? Sensin. Okay. Now, what properties does sensin have in this particular plant? It's an oxygenator of the brain, heart, lungs, and blood vessels. It puts more oxygen in your blood. Why is that so important? Because it takes oxygen and nutrients that come together to make that kind of combustion, like gas and fire in an engine. It creates the spark of life. The less oxygen you have in your blood, the less spark of life you have. The more oxygen you have in your body, the better it utilizes the nutrients that's found in plants. So it enhances the bioavailability of the chemical constituents that are found in the other herbs and foods. Does that make sense? So it's going to enhance the utilization of the chemicals in the Hawthorne berry, the chemicals in the mother's wort, the chemicals in the cayenne pepper, et cetera. Make sense? Let me move on. I'm moving fast for time, but if I move too fast, stop me, slow me down, help me and ask me to clarify. What else does blessed thistle do? It promotes what? Energy. If you have more oxygen in your body, you're going to have more what? Energy. What happens when you have less oxygen going to your brain? You get lightheaded, you get kind of like blah. So when you have more oxygen in your brain, you have more clarity and you have more well-being, meaning you feel better. So more oxygen, you're going to be happier. You're going to have a better well-being and more optimistic. So it's going to help deliver more oxygen to your brain. Now you have to realize that there's a symmetry between the heart and the circulatory system and the brain. So if you're having heart issues, you're going to have what issues? Brain issues, because those blood vessels go to the heart. If you have blockage in your heart, you're going to also have blockage in your what? I know individuals who had heart attacks, they had bypass surgeries, all right? And they, took that blockage away. And then shortly after the surgery, their cognitive abilities begin to decline. I've seen that happen. I had a friend of mine, someone that I knew, that had about 4 PhDs. The pastor, he had 4 PhDs. Not only that, he was a master carpenter and painter. And he had a love for Jesus, wanted to do ministry, and wound up having these heart issues. And then the next thing you know, after the surgery, his cognitive went to the point where his wife told me, she said, he left out the house and I didn't know where he was. And someone found him and called me. And he didn't know how to get back home or what. So you have to take care of your heart. And in taking care of your heart, you also have to minister to your brain. The blood vessels that innervate our body goes up to our brain. And if it's not circulating properly, then you're not going to get the life forces to your brain as you need. And as you get older, your cognitive abilities are going to go like this. All right? Are you familiar with this particular plant? All right. Ginger, lecithin, and it has anticoagulant properties. That salicylic acid is in there. Anti-inflammatory. Circulatory stimulants. You see how I put the chemicals that's next to its ability to do what it's doing? All right, you see that? So these plants have chemicals in them. And these chemicals is what God put in there, and it has these benefits. So in our heart formula, that ginger's in there. That's why we use it, because of all these benefits. Most people who have heart conditions have cholesterol issues as well, don't they? People with heart conditions have, issues with their blood clotting potentially, right? So you have these benefits. Here's another one. You familiar with that plant right there? Garlic. Aloe, that's the plant that's the chemical that's in it. Not only is it antibiotic, you know about that, but it's hypocholesterolemia, meaning that it lowers cholesterol. All right, it's hypotensive. What else does it do? It's antithrombotic. Guess what I have in this particular formula? What do you think is in this heart formula? Garlic. There we go. All right, that's what's in there. Now, if you don't use the formula, those are the things that you need. That makes sense? You need to be educated. You need to know why you're doing what you're doing. When you come to my office or we do a video, telehealth or phone, I explain this. So you'll know what you're taking and why you're taking it. Know what you're doing and why you're doing it. Here is a recipe that you can make. Eggplant. You can take an eggplant and you can cut it in 4s, like the eggplant, cut it in, and then take that round eggplant, cut it in 4s, put it inside of a large mason jar, pour distilled water over it, put the top on it, and shake it up. Okay? Once you do that, here's what you do. You let it sit in the refrigerator. The 5th day, 6th day is ready, and you drink 4 ounces of it a day. Eggplant. Why eggplant? Eggplant is hypotensive. Come on, talk to me, somebody. Yes. It's good stuff. Hypotensive. Throwing out the chemicals in there. Now the chemical that's inside the flesh of the plant is now in the water. Now you made the water medicinal. Come on, talk to me. Then you drink the water. Now the chemical hypotensive properties that's in that plant, you have extracted it into the water, and now you drink it, and it circulates through your bloodstream. The life of the flesh is in your blood, and it goes into your heart and your blood vessels, and it starts to bring it down. I thought they would too. This stuff, man, I'm excited about this, and I pray for opportunities for the Creator to open up more doors for me to share this information so that we can save some lives here, There are people who are having heart attacks, and they're only having heart attacks because I have not gotten to them yet. You have not gotten to them yet. That's why this is so important. And this is why the man of God contacted me, not just because we're friends, but he knew that this would enrich his congregation and his community. This is not just a fill-in event, just to have something on the calendar. It's life-changing time. We are dying. We don't have to. And it's because of lack of knowledge. You done seen the eggplant parmesan, you even know. You know what it can do for you. Now you know. You're going to look at the eggplant totally different. You're going to be in the grocery store, it's a hypotensive. What is wrong with this woman? Hypotensive. All right, let's move on. All right, let's make that change. Let's make that change. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to go into, the last thing that I'm going to be doing with you all today is we're going to be doing some more recipes juice-wise, okay? We'll go over a few juice recipes, and then I'll take some questions and answers, and then we'll bring things down to a close. All right? All right? All right. So while she is making that transition, I want to just make sure that you all are aware that you have an opportunity, one, to participate in our 90-day program. If you're interested, we can enroll you in our 90-day program. Second option is what your pastor already mentioned to you. If you all would like to continue, have some classes, and to grow, I'll be willing to offer my services to provide that for you if you're willing. Only if you're willing, because, I'm 52 right now. I'm in the old age of youth, and I'm only promised 10 and a little extra by reason of strength. I don't like my time being wasted. You got me? I want to maximize the time that I have. So if there are people who are interested and truly want to learn and grow for not only their own personal enrichment, but to give the others, I want to be able to provide that for you, okay? So let's make that very clear. I want you to think about that, because I don't want this just to be a patch job. I don't want to come in, hey, and gone, and everything the same. And I'm tired of that. So I'm very pointed now as I'm moving forward, especially when I'm lecturing and teaching in church communities. I want to provide something that we can build and create a community. Because we need help. It's about community. So my wife, I'm going to have her come and say a few words before we leave here. She is a board-certified health and wellness coach. She was trained at Vanderbilt University. She's now currently working on her doctorate in positive psychology with a life coach track. So what we discovered is that 90% of this is mental, 10% is application, all right? So what other service we provide is just having a coaching relationship with individuals like you to help you navigate from suboptimal health to optimal health. How many people I talk to that say, hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And yeah, that's great. You're doing this and you're doing that, but it's the package, right? You may be eating the right way, but you're not exercising. It ain't just about the herbs. Exercise is fundamental. So what we have a program is to get you to tap into all of the resources of health and wellness and empower you so you can get there. So that is that's a service that we provide, the health coaching. We do individual and group coaching. And we give you the tools that you need to make the change. And some of us need help. Amen? Amen. Left to ourselves, life happens and we keep doing the same thing. If you do the same thing, you will get the same results. And my wife and I, what has made us successful in our sphere, I'm not putting us like we're, the people who just their health and their fitness is far superior to us. But in our sphere, we invested in getting the things that we needed to become the people that we are today. We didn't go out and buy a cheap juice. We saved our money back in the day, back in the 90s. The juicer that was popular was the Omega juice. Have you heard of that? And it was around $100 or so, wasn't it? It was a lot back in the 90s. But we got the best juicer because we realized that we're the best. You get what I'm saying? We realized that we're priceless. So I'm not going cheap on myself. So start making investments in yourself. So let's look at what the principle of juicing. First, in Timothy chapter 2, verse 23, drink no longer water, but a little wine for the stomach's sake and thy often infirmities. That wine there is not referring to fermented wine, all right? It's referring to fresh juice, okay? Fresh plant juices. Is that clear to you? All right. So here in this particular situation, Timothy is ill, and when you're ill, often water is not the best, right? When you have an upset stomach, drinking water is not the best. Teas are better, you know, juices are better on the stomach. Sometimes when you drink water and you have stomach issues, you vomit, you feel ill. So Paul, understanding health and understood that Timothy should not drink the water, he should drink something that's from a plant in a juice form, okay? All right. Look at the book of Isaiah, chapter 65, verse 8. You want to write this down. This adds value to the product of juice. Thus says the Lord, as the what? New wine. Let's define what he's talking about as wine. As the new wine is found where? In the what? In the cluster, not the brewery. It's in the cluster. New wine is found in the cluster. We have a grapevine on Corns Hill in Tennessee. And those grapes grow in what? Clusters. So where's the new wine found at? In the cluster. Is that cluster fermented? It's fresh, right? As the new wine is found in the cluster, and one says what? Read it with me. Destroy it not, for it's a blessing is what? In it. So what I do to my servant? The blessing is in it. What's in it? One of the things that's in it is an enzyme. All right? Enzymes are in it. Okay? What's in it? Enzymes. So what those enzymes will do in a fasting and juicing program, those enzymes will go in, and where there's weak tissue, where there's disease, it will go in like Pac-Man and eat up all of that diseased tissue. You got what I'm saying? That's the blessing in it. Is that making sense? Not only does, juicing fruits and vegetables that has protein, it has carbohydrates in them, electrolytes in them, it has life in them. All right. So we want to juice. Lysosomes is the enzyme that is in the plant. What is it called? Lysosomes. 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 Lysosomes is the digestive enzyme of the cell. The plants have lysosomes in them, preacher. When you drink the lysosomes will go throughout your body and they begin to eat and heal. I have a friend of mine. He would have no problem me saying his name. His name is Willie Grayson. Willie Grayson was contracted colorectal cancer. He started losing weight. He didn't know what was going on with him. He started getting weak and tired, and all of a sudden, blood started coming out of his stool. He went to the doctor. He was diagnosed with colorectal cancer. Thank God he was at a church that the women in Zion knew what to do. Went to his wife and said, Rana, here's what you need to do. You need to get you some carrots. You need to juice. You need to drink these teas, and start telling him what to do. So he started juicing. He juiced so much that his hands turned the color of a carrot. The physician told him after the diagnosis is that I'm going to go in, I'm going to cut it out. And if it goes good, things will be normal for you. If it goes bad, you're going to have a colostomy bag for the rest of your life. Willie Grayson is a young man at the time. He starts juicing. Flesh starts coming out his stool. He said, oh Lord, I'm dying. What he did not know, that lysosomes was doing his work. Come on, talk to me. Why was the flesh falling out? Because the lysosome was in there eating that cancer and detaching it from the walls of his colon. When the surgeon went in to do the surgery, he said, Mr. Grayson, I had very little surgery to do. He said, for some strange reason, that tumor was detaching itself from the walls of your colon. If that surgery had been postponed just a little bit longer, I believe that Willie Grayson would never have had to have surgery. Because lysosomes was doing his work. So don't come to me talking about, oh, you're juicing, is that you're losing stuff, and don't tell me when the Bible done told me it's a blessing in it.
There's no fiber.
There's no fiber in it. You wasting. No, you extracting it and making it medicinal. You see what I'm saying? You're extracting it and making it a medicine. You're taking it on a different level. You hear what I'm saying to you? You can blend it up, that's fine. But juicing takes it to a different level. And this is why this text is not just talking about, the cluster that's it's giving you a principle. You take the Old Testament, for your often infirmities, and the New Testament, you bring that together, it tells you, look, we need to juice. This earth is waxing old like a garment. And if it's waxing old like a garment, what it tells me is that this doesn't have the potency that it used to do when your great-great-grandmother lived on the earth. I don't care how good you eat, it just doesn't have the that it used to have. Earth doesn't have it anymore. It's decaying. It's waxing old. So I have to maximize and make up for the loss. How do I make up for the loss? I juice. How else do I make up for the loss? I take this stuff right here, ionic trace minerals. Are you hearing me? I make up. I put the extra inside of my system. What else do? I take bioflavonoids. It's hypotensive. You got me? It keeps my heart healthy. What else do? I take this stuff every morning. This is my other woman. I have a love affair with her. Because I do. When I get on the plane, I travel out of the country, this goes with me. Now, it's called superfood. Why is it called superfood? That's just a name that's been given to the plants that's in here because their nutrient value is far superior than other plants. I give you a prime example. This has wheatgrass in it, okay? If this was only wheatgrass, okay? You had 15 pounds of this wheatgrass by itself in a powder. You would have to consume 350 pounds So if you do not use this, if you don't take advantage of the one we have, everyone in this room should have some superfood in their cabinet. And don't get some cheap stuff. All right? If you want something that works and is good, get the Dr. Corn's brand. Support the work. I'll be sharing this information with folk and folk go buy other brands. How you gonna do a brother like that? Support the mouth that gave it to you. People be calling me, oh yeah, I tried some other stuff. I ran out and I went down to the grocery store. I got some more and I took that for a while. But after several months, I realized it wasn't as good as yours. Dr. Corns. That's my name. Where your daughter at? She like, she been listening to me all this time, don't even know my name. How you do it? All right. All right. You had a question? Yeah. So you got what I'm saying? Now here's the benefit. If you have blood pressure issues, it's going to benefit your heart. If you have heart issues, this is going to help build your heart up. This is a plant food. If you have, inflammation issues, this is an anti-inflammatory. All right. Not only that, if you open up and look at it, it is a dark green. It's rich in chlorophyll. And as I told you the other day, chlorophyll is virtually identical to human blood. So each time you take something like this, the life of the flesh is in the blood. And because it's plant-derived, your body is going to say, give it to me. Give it to me. My daughter, on her menstrual cycle, is terrible. She's in a fetal position. Leave me alone. I got a headache. I'm just like, she's out of commission. And if she doesn't take something, she has to take, Tylenol and some pain. Am I telling the truth? She'll take. When my little flower, in which I affectionately call her, when she's taking this superfood, we don't have that problem. I have women who have fibroids and they're bleeding a lot. And they start taking the superfood, they see a change, that their heavy bleeding reduces. I'm not talking changing their diet and I'm just saying just taking this. So if you take things like that and add all the other components, what would it do for your health? So you need a plan for yourself. Like I told you, I take this stuff every morning. Man, this stuff that I have here, before we would get it from different places, and the Lord was like, you need your own. So we start creating our own. And if my wife tells me, she said, honey, your stuff is really good. My wife is a straight shooter. In her personality test, judgment and equity is top of the list for her. She's going to be fair. She's not going to fudge the number. When we're gardening and the book says 3 inches down in the ground, brother man got to dig 3 inches. Sister girl going to come with the ruler and say, it's 2.34. If it's 4 inches, can you put some more dirt in there and make it? I'm serious. That's how she roll. That's how she roll. So she says, when she takes the stuff, what'd you say, darling? It's good. See? If it wasn't good, she'll tell me. Good stuff. So I encourage you to use the products that we have because it helps people. I'm not trying to sell you stuff, and sometimes I'm like a little shy because I don't want to be misunderstood. But I'm telling you what has helped people. And if you want help, you need to tap into a resource where you can be helped. And don't be cheap with yourself. One of these will last you about 30 days. It's like 38, 40 servings that's in here. And take it every day. Take it every day. All right? Invest in yourself. Don't be lazy when it comes to your health. Invest in yourself every day. All right, let's continue. All right, what's inside of the, let's go back. What is the question? So can someone tell me Give me the two chemicals that's in hawthorn berry and mother's wort. The active chemical constituents in mother's wort as well as hawthorn berry. Two chemicals I mentioned. All right. You got to raise your hand. You can't shout it out. Whose name? I think her hand went out without saying it. All right, I already said it. All right, so let's do another one. Let's do another one. All right. All right. What was the chemical constituent that's in garlic?
Nobody knows that? You already won. You can help. No.
All right, there's a hand.
Yes.
Correct. Ding, 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 ding. Does anybody remember the properties? What type of, remember a drug alters structure and function. What type of effect does that Allison have when it's entered into your bloodstream? What can it do for you? It's anti-inflammatory. What else is it? Lowers cholesterol, anti-cholesterolemic. What else does it do? Lower blood pressure, hypotensive. What else? Antithrombotic, yes. What else? Give me another one. One more. Antibiotic, yes, yes, yes. If all else fails, go to the cheat sheet, the notes. All right. What is the enzyme found in fresh juices? You're not supposed to call it out. You're supposed to raise your hand. Go stand in the corner. Go stand in the corner. She called out the answer. You're supposed to raise your hand. Nope. She said it. You can't give a prize. You heard her? All right. I said, what is the enzyme found in fresh fruits and fresh juices? What is the enzyme that I mentioned that's found in fresh juices? What is the name of it? Lysosomes. All right, my brother, what does the lysosomes do? When you drink that juice, you drank juice before having it. You juiced it for my brother, haven't you? What is that lysosome? What was it doing in your body? As Pastor Philip Willis used to say, and there was silence in the house. It's repairing, yep. What else is it doing? To provide nutrients. All right, what is the primary thing that I said that it does? Anti-cancer, I did say that. So functional wise, what was it doing when it's in your body? It's like a scavenger enzyme. Don't you like the way she broke that down? It's like a scavenger enzyme. That's exactly what it's doing. And here is one reason we know that there is a creator. How does lysosomes know how to attack and remove and dissolve the cancerous or necrotic tissue and leave the healthy tissues alone? Because it has to be designed that way. Why does aloe vera attack cancer cells and leave healthy cells alone? That's intelligence. No, it's not just nature. It's intelligent. How does it know? Chemo is non-discriminatory. It shoots up everybody. Now, it was made by man. When you take chemo, it's going to destroy healthy cells and it's going to destroy good cells. But when you take natural stuff, how does it know only to attack the bad cells? God designed it that way. Give him glory. He designed it that way. And what does that tell us? That God is love. Lysosomes. 5 needs of the cells? Y'all remember that? All right, so grapefruit, high in vitamin C. We'll talk about our immune health. For those who are not diabetics, all right, high in vitamin C. It's an immune strengthener. So when with this COVID, or if you're just trying to keep your immune system, and people ask me, what are you doing for COVID? You know what my answer is? Same thing I was doing before COVID. A lifestyle. My wife and I always invest in our immune system. What do we travel with, darling? Immune, echinacea, golden seal, astragalus root, olive leaf. Olive leaf is antifungal, antiviral, anti-parasitical. You got me? All right. So immune system. What else are we doing for our immune system? We're using oranges and grapefruit. Oranges and grapefruit is an immune builder. It's also for your respiratory system. You have pneumonia, you have asthma, you have respiratory conditions. Orange and grapefruit are the two twin towers that you want to use for that. So grapefruit is valuable. It aids in the body elimination of poison. When we talk about allergies, it's going to eliminate the toxins and poisons that's in your body. Oranges, another fruit that's high in vitamin C. It has calcium and phosphate. It can decrease mucus from the head and the nose. What did I say? It can decrease mucus from what? The head and the nose. All right? It's especially good for respiratory conditions, and it also lowers blood pressure. It's great for high blood pressure. So let's make some juice. Y'all want some juice? Now let's make some juice. Question? Yes. Do you know why they say that? Why do they say that? Because these plants naturally keep your blood from coagulating. And if you're taking medications that are like warfarin and Coumadin and blood thinners, Eliquis and all of that, you got a double effect. Now, here's what I'm gonna say to you right now. If they told you not to consume the greens, right? They tell you green leafy vegetables, ease off on them too. If they tell you not to eat these things, it's because they know that it works. Because if it didn't affect you, then they wouldn't tell you stop drinking. All right. So that's why. And that's why it's important for individuals like yourself, if you're trying to make those transitions, is to connect with someone who has the knowledge to help you transition. We got to drive all them hours back, hauling stuff, packing stuff up, staying in the roach motels that the preacher put us in. Let me have that jar right there, please. Okay. What do we do this morning, darling? What do we do? What did Big Daddy do this morning? Fresh orange juice. I felt like a thief. I went down there for breakfast this morning. I walked out with all these oranges. My wife put some in her pocket. And she was like, "We paid for this." I said, "All right, baby, we paid for it." And we went up to the room and we did this. This is a citric juice press. You don't want to use this in one of these or one of these. Now, when we first started off, we had a manual one, and then we bumped up to an electric one, Black & Decker. You just stick it on, and that broke. And now we're upgraded to a commercial grade juice press. See, we invest in ourselves. When I went on Amazon to get one of these, I wasn't looking for the cheap one. I want a good quality one. So I got a commercial grade, all right? Because I am made in the image and likeness of God. I'm made after his kind, all right? So I am a royal priesthood, chosen generation. And if you're a priest and you're a royal generation, you're not giving them cheap stuff, are you? You give them quality stuff. So we get quality stuff. So we got this nice commercial juicer, and we make this fresh juice. And what it's doing for the both of us, and what it will do for you, it's ministering to our immune system, but also ministering to our respiratory system. You know, the excess mucus, even the hotel that we're in, you know, walk down the hallway, you smell people's dogs. You know, people eating with the dogs in the I don't want to offend anybody if you carry your dog everywhere you go. But the reality is that people are bringing their dogs and traveling with them, and they in the hallway, you smell dog. I had to smell dog today. And then we're at the end of the hotel. So you go down the stairs there and you go outside, and then people go outside on that landing there and they smoke. And they leave the door cracked. So now that whole hallway there is full of smoke. And I have to smell the secondhand smoke. Where's it going? Into my lungs. You know, so fumes and, you know, stuff inside buildings and things like it's always attacking your lungs. So if I'm drinking this, it's helping to purify, cleanse, detoxify, and heal my lungs. And it's also building my respiratory, my immune health, okay? Any questions while I'm pressing your juice? See that rhythm I got? Amen. Amen. I like that. They can take you with us. You travel, we hire you just to be the amen. Rest oranges, grapefruit. We finish off these oranges. I know everybody's gonna want some of this. Yes, we can do that. We have. I'm using all the oranges. All right, so I'll save some for that. Okay. We'll stop right there. Yep. All right. Now let's take a cup and put it in there for the drip drip. So my son, my eldest son, said, I told him he needed juice for his child because he kept having a runny nose and ear infections and stuff. I said, you need a juice for my little man. So he went out and got a citric juicer. And he showed it to me. And I was like, oh, that's cute, son. Then I showed him mine. He's like, whoa, Dad. I said, I'm taking this back. And then he sent me a text several days later. He got one just like this. Like father, like son. Now, I'm not going to strain it. Let the preacher. I'm not going to strain it. So, I got this off of Amazon. I need to have stock in Amazon. I buy so much stuff off. Great. Appreciate you, sir. It's dangerous, man. They might snatch it out your hand. Snatch it out your hand, man. I'm filling up, man. The preacher said I'm too gracious. I'm putting too much in there.
Some more, brother.
No, that's it. Oops. Well, can you set that back up again? Just the one to the far right, the one in the corner. Just hit that little screen image. No, not that. No. Oh, okay. Well, no, wrong one. Wrong run. No, that's not. Slideshow, yes.
You will be overlooked. We're almost out, y'all. I got some more grapefruit back there if you want. You need more cups? Well, yeah, I got more cups, girl. Let's go get them.
That's grapefruit and orange. I normally do about 1 to 3. So I'll use 1 grapefruit to like 3 oranges, depending on the size of it. And that's red grapefruit. The red grapefruit usually, yeah, I use the red grapefruit. No. I mean, how many? No. If you got sores in your mouth, you got a problem. If that happens, your body's trying to get rid of something. Yep. All right. So, all right. So it's something else you can do with that, right? Let me just show you. Before you do that, pour that back in there. Pour that back in there. Pour that back in there. Thank you. All right. So this one here is going to be a little special. That's the wrong way. I got one that's open. It was on the table. Yeah.
I'll find it.
Here we go. All right. So here's cayenne pepper. All right. We use a cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper has heating units. Heating units. So just like on your thermostat, you can turn it up so high. You know, there are some peppers that are hotter than others. So we use a cayenne pepper that's 160 heating units. Very therapeutic because most of the people that we work with have severe chronic illnesses. So it needs to be addressed in a very aggressive way. So this is very therapeutic. So what I'm going to do is just put a pinch of this pepper inside the juice. And this is something that my wife and I, something we do as well. So instead of just drinking it by itself, we will also mix it. We'll also mix some cayenne pepper in there sometimes. You know, give it a little kick. African, yes, African cayenne pepper, yes.
Try this one. Hot one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Who ready? You got a real man for pops right there. He's like, I'll take it. I'll take it. Give me some of that Hennessy. Give me some of that.
All three need to share this.
What'd you think?
Oh, we got to treat you special. That has some pepper in it now. All right. All right. All right. So here's something else you can you peel that and skin that for me? All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to make more juice. You know what? You don't have to. We'll run it through the juice. We'll run it through the juice. Do we need more what? We're good. We're good. So we're going to run it through the juice. You don't have to skin it. All right. All right. Everybody okay? Almost done. I don't want to wear out the patience of the same. Am I boring you? A few more minutes and you're going to be gone. So here's something else. Here's another variation of what you can do. Okay? We're going to press us some more juice here. So you come to my house, right? Let's say you worn out. You got pneumonia. You got the flu. You know, maybe you got recovering from COVID. You're dealing with some type of illness that's affecting your immune system. And you don't want to take a flu shot. Feeling bad. Here's what we're going to do. Bring it on. How many people tried it with the pepper in it? How was it? It's very good. You felt, you tried it. You tried it. Girl. Is that your daddy next to you? I'm not surprised then. Yeah, that's all right. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. What happened? I put this on top of it? You can sprinkle it just about on anything. Yeah, you can put it on food. You can put it on salad. Yes. I've seen the lemon to be more therapeutic effective than the lime. Yep. All right, so can you chop up a lemon for me, please? Watch your step. Now, is this something that I'm doing? Is this something you can do? Yeah, you can do. Yeah. Go ahead.
Which one?
Two. Yes. If your what is too high? Okay. Listen closely, everyone. We usually wait till things break down before we start giving it what it needs. I have a Honda Pilot, a 2003 Honda Pilot that has almost 400,000 miles on it, right? And if I had to, I would drive it from Tennessee to here. The reason it's lasted that long, why do you think? Because I service it, I take care of it. Your body's the same way. We don't service our circulatory system. We don't service our neurological system. We don't service our reproductive system. We wait till we have fibroids. We wait till we have cognitive disorders. We wait till we have heart conditions. Then we try to scammer and see what to do. I don't do that. I don't have heart issues, but I'm taking that heart formula. I take that from time to time. I take the citric bioflavonoids because flavonoids are the chemical that's for the heart. I take that powder, I take these things because it helps support the system of my circulatory system, my heart. So what I would suggest that people do is create a plan where throughout the year, they are investing in all of their systems. Right now, we're about to invest in our respiratory system and our immune system. All right? And what else are we going to do on top of that? That's from a juice therapy. We're also going to do it from a nutritional therapy. And we're going to also take supplements for that, you know, and herbs for that. You got what I'm saying? So you got to be very specific. All right? So if there's any issue where things are out of balance, let's try to implement some things to bring that balance back. Yep. You don't have to have heart disease to do this kind of stuff. Let's do one more. Yes. Person that has problems with what? Sinusitis, yes. Itis is always inflammation. When it has an itis in it, it's inflammation. We'll do another one. Sometimes it finds that it triggers it. Okay. Yeah, sometimes things will seem to trigger something because, and this is why when we don't know exactly how to provide the care, I'm not saying you don't, but I'm just saying in general, you get what I'm saying? Is that we feel we have a seemingly negative effect, which is actually not always a negative effect, it's a positive effect, is because the body is trying to get rid of stuff. You know? So we have to kind of do some evaluation to see if, are you allergic to citric? Is your body chemistry I'm just giving just a response. I'm not saying that you are, but sometimes people are allergic to certain types of foods, not because the food is an antagonist, because their system is out of balance. And sometimes we have to step away from that food, get our body balanced, and then we can reintroduce it. But in some cases, when you take something and you have what it seems to be a negative effect, you got to understand that your body is always trying to create homeostasis. And one way it's going to do that is provide the needs of the cells. And one of the needs of the cell is waste elimination. So it may enhance the expulsion of waste through the respiratory and sinus passages as it seeks to restore. Yeah, because when we take medication, we typically suppress what the body is doing. That makes sense? You pour that in there. Okay. Okay. Okay, so, and it could be the fact that you have just inflammation, some type of inflammation. Gotcha. I understand. Okay, now you're talking oranges. Are you talking the fresh or you're talking purchase? Both, okay. All right, that would take some exploratory research. I would have to do it. I would have to consult with you and talk with you. Yep. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I would have to kind of, that would take some looking into. You know. So, yeah. And when's the last time? Everyone in this room should do a cleanse and detox. Entire system. You have 7 channels of elimination. 7. You want to hear them? All right. Your colon. All right. Your lungs, your liver, your blood, your lymphatic system. All right. Your skin, your urinary system. I'm missing one? Is that all of them? That's 7. All right. So the cleanse and detox program that we have covers all of those bases. So that's something that you need to do. Not because you have a problem, but the body needs that kind of care, you know? One more ginger, is that all of it? All right. So that's ginger. Let's kind of review. So we juiced some oranges, some grapefruits, several lemons. We had some pineapple, 100% pineapple juice. We mixed that together. Now I'm juicing some ginger root. All right, got the ginger root. You see that ginger, that's quite a bit. You see that? Ginger root? Yeah. Yeah, where's the garlic? All right. All right, so we're going to take this ginger root, and my lovely assistant is going to take these cloves, and we're going to take all of the covering off of it to get down to the meat. Yes. Let's put about 5 or so. All right, so we're going to put about 5 of these garlic. Juicing it by itself? Not on an empty stomach. No. It will cause you some issues. All right. Something else I would recommend for if you want to be like the healthy, wealthy, do like the healthy, wealthy do. Start saving your money and get quality products. So you want to get you a Vitamix. Yep, a Vitamix. Yes, I'm gonna blend it up first. All right. Do we have a measuring spoon for that? A small measuring spoon? So now we're blending up that garlic and mixing the juices together. All right, we got it blended up. Now we're about to throw some of this bad boy. Cayenne pepper. All right, I'll be easy on the Saints. So what you need to do, what you kind of do is like when you make something, you add cayenne, start off with a little, shake it up, taste it, and then see what your tolerance of cayenne is. As time goes on, you can tolerate higher amounts. So when you make it, just mix it up, and then if it doesn't have enough kick, you can add a little bit more, right? So start off in gradual amounts. So we're gonna add our cayenne pepper. What's that? Yeah, the cayenne is gonna be hotter, but the same chemical that gives ginger its heat is the similar chemical that's in cayenne pepper. They're cousins. Yeah. Hit the back of that throat like. I think it needs a little bit more cayenne pepper.
Let them taste first.
All right. Remember. Yeah, I want y'all to remember me tonight or tomorrow when y'all sit down on the throne. And then to you. I'm not saying, I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. It needs some more. I told you, I wasn't gonna lie to you. It needs some more. Yep, it needs some more.
Okay.
So what you saying, you tougher than them? Is that what you're saying? You say you a better sister than they are? These people are.
Why you sit it down?
Oh, let's put some more in there before we pass it out. It needs a little bit more heat.
Okay, we'll put just a little bit.
All right, let's hook it up a little bit more. Where is the cayenne pepper? What do we do with it? Where's the bag? There we go. Is that woo to you? Oh, you soft. Susan, Sharon, is it Sandra?
Okay, we got some. I'm waiting for the report.
Now, does it need, be honest, you have the flu. You laid up and you quivering and you shaking and you sick. Do you want a little more kick or do you want it? All right, so we're gonna add some more, right?
Add some more. Just a little bit, just a little bit.
I'm gonna do that. That's it. One more. One more recipe. All right. So let me just share with you honestly what I do. So in situations like that, ooh, that pepper getting my nose. This is a formula called cold and flu. This is a formula called immune. So what I would do if I were caring for you, I would give you some of that, and I would add some of this in it, and then I will also have you taking some of this. Now, both of these have chemicals, plants that are antiviral, plants that are antibacterial, plants that are antifungal, and plants that are antiparasitic. Those are the four invaders, right? So with this juice therapy, we're adding what other type of therapy? Herbal therapy, all right? So that's going to maximize our recovery process, okay? Great question. When you're juicing a recipe like this, All right. What's your name, my friend? Patrick. All right, Patrick. Good to have you. You taking notes? I see you're a good student. Like that. Like that in you, man. All right. So we have the celery. So when you talk about the heart, this is for blood pressure. So you have things like, calcium that stimulates the heart, gets it to fire. You have magnesium, which causes it to slow down. So minerals, they have a work to do in our body. Is that making sense to you? So we want to balance. We want our heart to work. Then we want our heart and our nervous system to calm down, right? So when you have a healthy amount of minerals in your body, it helps to give the body the capacity to do the work that it's designed to do in a normal, healthy fashion. So we're adding, foods like this that are high in minerals. I have not used beets yet, but we're putting beets in here, okay? So beets are definitely a builder of the blood, okay? We'll put some beets in here. And what we, sure did. Yep. You can pour that in something else. Okay. All right, put our beet in there. Celery, carrot, beet, and we used all the ginger, but we would add ginger in it. Yeah, this particular recipe is our hypotensive recipe. We put apple in here, especially for those of us who have. This gives it a nice taste. So you can add enough apple to give it a taste that you are comfortable with. You don't have to put a whole lot, depending on the taste of the apple and the size of the apple will determine how much you would use. Okay. It does matter. I would use like the Fuji apple or Gala. Those are going to be the better ones. Okay. Oops. Excuse me? I did bring some. Yep. If we don't have enough, you can still order it. We have a shipping department that we ship it out to you. It just really depends. We do both of them. So we juice vegetable juice. What I'm making right now is one of my wife and I regular juices. But we also do this. So what I do regularly, my lifestyle flow, I do this and this. So you come to my house, you look at my refrigerator, you're gonna see grapefruits and oranges in the refrigerator. You're gonna see beets, you're gonna see carrots, you're gonna see ginger. That's how our refrigerator looks all the time. All right? So we'll make this juice, we'll make this. You see what I'm saying? And that's how we just flow. I would drink, since we've been here, we've had this every day. Yep. Since we were traveling and we did not do this, I stopped at Whole Foods and purchased what is called Mama Boost. and it has some of the same things in it. So I just got a 32-ounce container, and we drank that for the last couple of days. And they press it, they juice it, and then they put it in a bottle. All right? Yes. I'm making a big mess. All right, so we'll stop right there. That should be plenty.
So remember, there's no ginger in here.
Well,
We
you
used all the ginger.
yeah, you're gonna probably get a little bit of the ginger that was in the residue inside of here. But just so you make sure for those who are watching in the comforts of their home and were too lazy to come out, we would normally add a ginger root, but your pastor was cutting back because y'all don't give enough tithe and offering. So he could.
I didn't say that. I didn't say
No,
that.
he didn't say that.
That brother's got his own
He didn't
issues,
say
all right?
that.
He only got me one ginger.
Try it.
Oh man, Mary, how I do it be like a medicine. Let's see what we got here, all right? I can get with that. Did we miss anything? That's everything. I can get with that. And ginger. Ginger has residue ginger in there, but let's add one more. Let's add one more apple because it's small. Chop that up for me. All right, any other questions? Yes, sir. Did I leave the skin on them? Yeah, I leave the skin on them. Yeah, there are properties within the skin of the plants that are medicinal as well. So yeah.
Just don't do that with avocado.
Yeah.
Don't do that with avocado.
Another question? Yes, ma'am. I put ginger in everything?
No.
No, I don't put ginger in everything. But majority of the time when I'm doing something therapeutic, self-care, treatment for a condition, I'm adding a catalyst, an herb that is going to cause the delivery of the other plant chemicals. So I'm regularly using ginger or cayenne pepper. Yeah, so I do use that very often. Very often. All the time, no, but very, very often that we're using it. As far as no, I don't use green tea for treatments. No, I don't. All right, that should have it. Let you try some of that. And remember, why do we juice? Why do we juice, students? Say it out loud so the whole room can hear you. To maximize the draw of the nutritional value, okay? Yes. How long does it take for this juice that you're about to drink to enter into your bloodstream? 15 minutes, yes. Now, how long would it take if you blended it up in that blender and drank it? It would take longer than 15 minutes. Did you all hear that? If you juice it, how long would it take to get in your bloodstream? But if you blended it up, how long would it get into your bloodstream? It would take longer. All right? If you're sick, do you want it to take longer or faster? If you're trying to enhance your vitality, do you want it to take longer or faster? All right. Let me hold that question for a second. So let me ask you this question. Which one guarantees the delivery? The blending or the juicing? So why doesn't the blending guarantee the delivery? Because it takes long. What was the primary reason that I said? You are what you eat, right? There was some folks went like this. You are what you what? You are what you assimilate. So if I drink a blended vegetable, fruit, what I get is going to be predicated on how well my digestive system works. But if I juice, it doesn't matter if my digestive system is tore up and broke down. It's going to absorb into my bloodstream. Got it, my brother? We here, right? All right. Fiber taking up space in your blender. It's going to slow down the absorption because the fiber is going to slow down the absorption. Yes, it will. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's what it's supposed to do. But we're talking about all of us. Let me say this. Listen very closely to me. All of us in this room are sick to some degree.
Come on now, preach it, brother.
All of us in this room are sick to some degree because of sin. Even for those of us who are doing our best, there's going to be some degrees where the body is not where it needs to be optimally. So your flow needs to be as though you're always kind of dealing with some type of condition that you're looking to prevent. That makes sense? And that's why we juice regularly. So let me ask you this question. How often are you going to juice now? Well, let's be specific. That juicing needs to be a part of your life. You need to decide today how often you're going to juice. That makes sense? 7 days in a week. It should be no less than 3 days a week. Yep. What is the amount that you need to drink minimum? 16 ounces a day. 16 ounces a day is a what dose of juice? I mentioned it. It starts with a T. It's a therapeutic dose of juice. That's really good. Praise ye the Lord. Can you have a glass full? Who's your favorite? All right, this is how we do it. All right, now we're making a green drink. What is it called? Green drink. We're about to extract the power of the sun. When you look at this green, you're looking at the power of the sun. This truly is the power of the sun. This plant has extracted the energy of the sun and converted it into food. Have you ever thought about it that way? My sister, this is the sunlight. This is the sunlight converted through photosynthesis and made into a food for the plant. Not only is it food for the plant, it's food for you. So, the romaine lettuce. So I told your pastor to get the spring mix lettuce, but she did not listen to me. You got the romaine. You can use the romaine. All right? Let me tell you what your options are. Spring mix lettuce. Oh. All right. So we're going to use the spring mix lettuce. Romaine is fine. I found that the spring mix lettuce is going to be more therapeutic. Why? Because it's a richer green. The greater the green, the more sunlight is in it. Don't get the lettuce that looks real light. You hear what I said to you? Look at it and make sure it's darker green. And do listen, if you see an iceberg lettuce, you kick it like it's a soccer ball. And bring that stuff in your house. I was talking about you. I have to take it back.
What did you say?
I was talking about you.
Stand up, brother.
All right. All right. So I'm taking a handful of lettuce. You see this? I'm going like this. Bam. Just like that. That's if you can afford it. You want organic if possible. Yeah. All right. Now I'm going to pour 16 ounces of water. Purified water is best. And just enough. I got enough, I think. Let's see. Too many steps. All right, we're going to add a little bit more water to it. All right. Put some sugar in it, huh? Shame on you. Woo! You see that, darling? Any green? There we go. Didn't I say that? Didn't I tell you? I always wanted, can I have this? Can I put some in it? Can I put my mother's special sauce in it that she made? Always want. Always. All right, so you see the green? That is the power of the sun. All right. You know, in the Bible, life is equivalent with light. Nothing else in it. Green drink. You need to filter it. You need to strain it.
We don't have nothing to strain it in.
Let's do this. Here's what we'll do. Listen. Let's take this out of here. Pour this in here. Can you rinse that real quick?
Yeah, give me that cup right there.
You hide that. Good bag, Jack. All right, so you're harnessing the power of the sun. Now, so let's look at chlorophyll and let's look at blood. Let's say when you look under the microscope, you see the chemical of the chemical makeup of blood and the chemical makeup of the chlorophyll. You're going to look like this. You see? See, I have 5 fingers and 4 fingers and a thumb like this. Only difference is at the center of my hand, we're going to find magnesium. That's what makes it green. But here's blood over here. At the center, we're going to have the hemoglobin. That's going to make it red. But when you look at them, they are virtually identical. But guess what happens, my sister, when you drink this? Guess what it's going to turn to? Blood. God forbid that you had an accident. Let's say we're living in a time of trouble and we're here in the church and you have an accident and you bled out and we had a doctor or somebody here. We had, an IV that we can have. We can put that in an IV, pump that in your blood and you would live. You can have a blood transfusion with this stuff. You can have a blood transfusion with coconut water. Come on, you don't know nothing about no coconut, man. Straight from the coconut, man. You know nothing about the coconut. Straight. I like the way Jamaicans say straight. It sounds powerful when they say it. Straight. Straight. All right, I'm going to taste it in your behalf.
Go ahead, brother.
Pow. Sunlight. Now, if you want a little more energy, how many can use a little more energy? All right. If you want a little more vitality, all right. If you want to detoxify your body, this is antiseptic. All right. Antiseptic. Yes, it's antiseptic. It also detoxifies you. It cleanses you. And it's a blood builder. All right. If you want healthier skin, it will help revitalize your skin. Oh, what's happening here in the church now? Oh, buddy, what y'all been doing? Oh, I'm sorry. That's what it is. I thought the juices was bringing some stuff out in y'all.
That's a good. There's an echo. Is there an echo in the house?
The one with the black hat that said straight really well.
Straight.
He's not paying attention. Brother Wayne, now it's time to ask your question.
The turmeric? Yes, I do. Oh man, yeah. Yeah, so maca. Yeah, so you're talking, if you get a 500 milligram maca capsules, I have, so I also have maca. I have my own line of maca. All right, I would take 4 of those capsules. I take the regular maca. Yeah, I'm taking the gel. Okay. Well, you know, and I don't, when it comes to what you just mentioned, it's not just one thing. I use the maca and I have a male formula. It's liquid, just like this. Yeah, this is it. This is it. It's all right. You want to? No, we're good. I don't usually tell people to do other things to it because people sometimes have difficulty listening and following directions. So if you give them too much information, then they mess stuff up and then they're like, I tried it. And they didn't put 50 million things in it and it don't come out right. No, it's not. Yes, ma'am. Which one is going to be what? Oh, the liquid is always going to be most effective. Yeah, because the liquid is liquid. It goes straight into your bloodstream. Yeah. You know, as far as cost effectiveness, the powders are cheaper. Yeah, but they're potent. But as far as it's what's. So she asked the question about, she went on the website. So that's good. I like that about you. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And so you'll know about the tinctures that we use. We can make more profits if we wanted to. What I mean by that, we could get an inferior herb. That makes sense? At a cheaper price. But we only have 3 or 4 different providers that we use who have to go through certain rigorous tests to get certain types of authentication that their product is superior. Meaning that when you talk about the plant, it has to come from quality soil. Not every provider that grows plants are going to stick to certain standards. So what we did our research to find out which herbal provider. We use Wildcrafted. We use different local growers and things like that who are connected with, companies that specifically make sure that the source You know what I'm saying? So people purchase, people call us. We have built up a clientele of individuals who have used what we have with benefits and told friends and family, and like the commercial used to say, and so on and so on and so on. So if our products were not effective, people would not come up. Now, it's not going to be effective for you if you don't follow and as it's instructed to do. So if you follow what's instructed to do, you will get the benefits. So we do have quality stuff. We stand behind it. Yep. All right. Any other question? Yes. It depends. All right. Depends on what you're blending together. Yeah. That'll be fine. Because the spinach is basically, the green leafy vegetables is basically chlorophyll with a little fiber in it. So the issue with fruits and vegetables is how it affects your digestion. All right. So as a rule, we don't mix fruits and vegetables together, but there are exceptions to that rule. All right. We're talking about when you hear about mixing fruits and vegetables together, it's not that there's something bad about fruits and bad about vegetables. We're talking digestion. All right. And some types of combination of fruits and vegetables don't digest well. They hinder digestion when they're combined together. It's not the fact that it's not digestible. It's just the fact that how it digests creates a problem. That's a whole class on food combination, food chemistry, body chemistry, and combination. That's a class, and that's a study in and of itself. So, and I'll just give you just a couple of more examples. Avocado can be eaten with fruits and vegetables with no problem. All right? It's a fruit, but it's not a sweet fruit. It's like a neutral fruit, eaten with fruits and vegetables. Olives, in the book Ministry of Healing, and Councils of Diets and Food, we're told olives can be eaten with every meal. So olive can be eaten with fruits and vegetables, and it doesn't hinder digestion. All right? Well, that's a different thing. Vinegar will hinder digestion. because it is a sour wine. Even though it's not vodka, it's still a sour wine. And vinegar is an irritant to the digestive system. Hmm? Well, if you're talking those green olives, maybe you need to soak them and get some of that sodium and things out of it. But you can get olives that don't have vinegar in it. Oh, I'm sorry. Cayenne pepper? Oh, cayenne pepper is going to increase your vitality. It's going to enhance the circulation of your blood. It's going to enhance, your cognitive, because it's going to enhance your reproductive. It's going to stimulate the movement of what's inside of you. All right, so whatever you ate today, you take some cayenne pepper, it's going to enhance the utilization of those nutrients, those vitamins, those minerals. You see what I'm saying? It's going to increase. It's going to cause your blood vessels to vasodilate, expand. It's going to allow it to move more freely. It's going to cause your blood that's, maybe a little bit thick to thin out and, move more freely throughout the system. Yeah. So cayenne pepper is something that we keep, that we roll with that. I mean, for years we've had cayenne pepper in our home, and we use it. You can take it every day if you want to. Yeah, you just pinch or so in water or juice or sprinkle it on food. Yeah. Yeah.
You guys, we're running out of time. It's 6:30 to 7. That's at 3 o'clock, and y'all gonna say that we stay here for 3.5 hours. So, did you ask your question? Okay. Did you get your question answered?
Yes.
You're good. Did you have a question? Okay. Does anybody else that I missed? Okay. Just a minute.
Put your teeth on edge. Well, yeah, there's a lot of things. Spinach can do that. Citric fruits can do that. Yeah, it's just when you do citric fruits and things like that, it's always probably a good rule of thumb to drink some water or something like that afterwards. If you have a problem with it afterwards, to rinse your mouth and drink some water so that that acid won't remain in your, because what happens is acid, but once it goes into your system, it turns alkaline. Yeah. Yeah.
That's one question. Next one.
But the one that I really like, I said, whatever you got for eye that might be beneficial, like glaucoma.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. You have to contact my office.
Yeah, that's a personal contact.
Yeah.
So real quick. Anybody that I overlooked who has a question, because we need to wrap it up. I have a question. What about apple cider vinegar?
Can you pass these up?
Talk about apple cider vinegar. Is apple cider vinegar different than regular vinegar? Some say it's good for just digestion. Some say it's good for building up your metabolic rate.
Yeah. So I'm not an internal user of apple cider vinegar. I'm giving you just my opinion. It's just my personal opinion. When Jesus was on the cross, they gave him vinegar. He didn't take it. All right. That's one rule. So vinegar is sour wine. All right. Now, there are things that have benefits to them, but usually sometimes you can have one benefit and it can cause another problem. I don't use the apple cider vinegar because I've discovered that most people already have poor digestive systems. So I just tend not to use that because I'm concerned about how it affects their digestive system. I want the win-win. I want the triple double. CBD helps people, but they got to keep taking it. Yes. Yeah, products with marijuana, this is a big thing. People take it, but people who take marijuana, CBD, and all those products, they have to continue to take it. I've discovered that the type of programs that God has given us, you don't have to be dependent on it. You can take it as maintenance, but I don't have to take it because my condition didn't go away. But as long as I'm taking it, my tremors stop and I can do, you got what I'm saying? Yeah, so I just personally believe, this is my personal opinion, for those who are convicted on it, you do what you feel impressed to do. My personal opinion, based on my understanding of anatomy and physiology, based on knowing how these things affect the body, that vinegar is an irritant to the stomach.
Like black pepper.
Just like black pepper is too, yes, it's the irritant, yeah. So that's my reasoning. And I think there are other options that we have that I tend to deem that are better than the apple cider vinegar. And most people who I know who take, and that's not everybody, most people who I know who take apple cider vinegar, the way they take it and what they do, I don't see them having optimal health. I see them taking it like as a maintenance or, like they take their meds or something. But, I don't see that as the best option for producing optimal health. All right. I want to do things that's going to minister to the entire system. Like, for example, his wife was at our hotel yesterday, and she had a tag. There was a tag in her dress. Her dress provided clothing for her, but that tag, that little sticker, was an irritant. You got me? It clothed her, but it was an irritant back here. All right? I don't like recommending things to anybody that may be an irritant in any kind of way to the system. That's my take on it.
All right, you guys are out of time, but I do have one last gift, and this is the way we're gonna do this last gift. I'm gonna have you ask a question. We're gonna do it for our older age folks. So anybody who's over 65, you apply. All right? Yes, you apply. So this question for them. Go ahead, brother. Just so you guys know, when I give out these gifts, it wasn't because I looked at somebody and I like them. I give out the gifts based on how the hands went up, okay? Make sure you understand that. Some people think, oh, the pastor liked me, you did this, you didn't like me. No. I gave out the gifts, that's all. So, you got a question?
All right, I have a question.
65 and over.
65 and over.
Last gift card.
All right.
Just hold your hand down and praise the Lord.
You have to raise your hand. You cannot, if you shout out the answer, you disqualify.
Yeah, shout out the answer, disqualified.
How much is that gift card?
$50 gas
If you
card.
shout out the answer, you have to give us $50. All right. Question.
You can use it as a you can get a lot of time.
All right, question. Are you ready for the question? Question? Are you got your eyes?
Yeah, you ready?
One of the judges?
It's for 65 and up.
All right. What makes this green?
We need people that follow.
Who said it? Who caught it? Didn't I say not to say it?
You can't shout it out.
Yeah, shout it.
You can't shout it out.
And listen, and especially don't shout out the wrong answer. Wait. 65 and over.
Okay. Help me. I'm confused now, brother.
All right, stop right
We got
there.
people answer now.
All right. So
Let's just do it over again.
who raised their hand?
Let's just do it over again. We gotta get another one.
It was my sister here and her husband.
Well, yeah, he had a shout, and then he shouted it out. And then she put her
He
hand
shouted out the wrong answer.
Oh, okay.
He disqualified.
Okay, so we got these two hands left. We got Brother Brown and we got Sister. Did I miss you? Yeah. Whose hand was up first?
I think her hand was up first. But he shouted out the wrong answer. Did we this?
Okay, let's do this. No. Let's do it over. Let's do it over again. You got another question, brother?
Man, that was a good question.
All right, everybody walk. Stand up. That may disqualify someone.
Yeah, they might not be able to get up fast enough.
Okay. All right, you guys, this is what we're
All right, so let's listen.
Stand up.
What,
You wouldn't have the answer.
your hand was up, what's the answer? What was the answer? What makes this green? What do you say? All right. All right. I'm a bad teacher. I'm a terrible teacher. I'm a terrible teacher. Brown. What? Oh, I'm a terrible teacher. I'm a terrible teacher. I failed you. I failed you. I have failed all of you. I held my hands up and I said, they look the same. What is hemoglobin in the middle that makes the blood red? And I had this other, I showed you the hand. And I said, it was magnesium. Magnesium. Magnesium.
Okay, all right. They all failed. All right. Congratulations. Because everybody failed.
And listen, I'm really a bad teacher because somebody said chlorophyll, I said wrong answer. Somebody else said chlorophyll, I said wrong answer. Then somebody else said chlorophyll, I said wrong answer. I gotta be a bad teacher.
Everyone failed. I'm gonna go and keep the gas card, okay? I like that answer. All right, this time.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Tasha, help me. Look up front. Look up top.
No.
So this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do this time.
Spirea almaria. Spirea almaria is the botanical name of meadowsweet, which we create. So we are done. How many of you had a great time? All right. What we need you to do, if you were blessed and you think that we are able to bless others, we want you to share and let people know that we have a resource for them. If you're interested in our service, you have our cards. If you're not into cards, we do I can give you a digital card. But we have cards here. If you're interested in any of the products that we have some on hand. If you want to do a cleanse and detox, I have 5 kits. If you're interested in getting some products for heart health, we have several different formulas that we do for heart health. That's here. If you're interested in some of the diabetic formulas that we have some of those here. And if we also have other products, you can peruse through our website. If you see something that you're interested in, you can always order, and our shipping department will send that out to you as soon as possible. It depends on what that dizziness is. There's a lot of things that cause dizziness. So I can't tell you what to take without evaluating what could be the source of that dizziness. That make sense?
Yes, thank you guys so much.
All right. Amen. Amen.
Understand? If anybody has the Lord's leading them, if they want to come up. Same things that we've learned tonight. Just imagine what it will be like. Center here at our church. So Father, we pray that you would stir us up within, put a fire within our bones. Guide us, lead us, Lord, that we can do the work, as we hear the stories of people being healed from heart disease, from issues with their kidneys, and hear all these stories. Does that motivate the people of God? So, Father, I pray that you be with us now, watch over us and protect us, give us traveling mercy, but stir us up. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.